Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we are going to review the Chapter 1 vocabulary terms. So at this time I just need for you to have something to write with and then your math notebook or math journal. And what I would like for you to do is open up to your notes page, and what you're going to do is I'm going to give you some words. I'm going to give you a sketch as well that goes along with those words. So I'm going to provide you with some examples, and what I would like for you to do is come up with a definition for that term that I show you. And I want you to try really hard not to use any resource. So you may not use your book or your vocabulary packet. I want you to try to come up with these definitions on your own. And what I would like for you to do is, once you record the word, as well as what definition you feel that it is, then I'm going to ask that you put either a star next to it if your definition is really close to the one that I have, or I want you to circle it or highlight the word if you feel like you need some extra work and some extra practice with it. Okay, so let's start off with addition. So write down the word addition, and here are some examples of some addition expressions. And what I would like you to do is come up with a definition. What do you think the definition is for addition? And you may pause the video if you need additional time. And then I'm going to reveal what I have though in just a moment. So you can pause at any time. Okay, so here's the definition I have. It's an operation used to find the sum of two or more numbers, or a number and a variable. So if you had anything close to that, please give yourself a star. And if you need additional work with this, then please circle it or highlight it. Next word, algebraic expression. Here's a sketch. So here's an example. What do you think the definition is for algebraic expression? Pause the video so that you give yourself some time, and then I'm going to reveal the definition in just a moment. Okay, if you said that it is a mass sentence, it's a mass sentence, and it includes three things: a number or numbers, an operation or operations, and then a variable. Okay, how about the next word? Associative property. Here's a sketch. And pause the video, and then I am going to reveal in just a moment. Okay, so here's the definition I have: changing the groups, and that's the key word, is groups, of numbers to find the value. Give yourself a star or circle it or highlight it if you need some extra help with it. Commutative property. Okay, so here's a sketch for it. And pause the video. Okay, the definition that I have, and if you have, changing the order of numbers in addition or multiplication problems to evaluate or to find the answer. You are absolutely right. Nice job. Next word, difference. Here's a sketch. What do you think difference is? The difference of two numbers. If you have the answer to a subtraction problem, nice job. Give it a star or circle it. Next one is distributive property. Here's a sketch. And remember the key word for distributive property? That should be part of your definition. Okay, if you had the introduction or to introduce one number to a group of numbers or variables, then give yourself a star. Nice job. Division is our next one. What's the definition of division? Okay, I have separating a number into each group or into groups. And I probably will say, let's take out each. So separating a number into groups. So if I take 965 and I separate it into 5 groups, I have an answer, and this is not the full answer yet, but they're slowly working towards the answer to that problem. Okay, next one, domain. What do you think the definition is for this? And D stands for domain, so that maybe will give you a hint on what to write down for a definition. Okay, so the definition is the set of x's or the input of a function. So, oops. And I actually want to take this S off. It's the input of a function. Okay, and so if you got that right, please put a star or highlight it if you need some work with it. Next word is evaluate. What does it mean to evaluate? And here's an example. Another example would be evaluate 2 to the 5th power. So, to find the answer, if you had that right, please put a star, and let's move on to the next one. Algebraic equation, or just equation. Here's a sketch. What do you think you need? What does it have? What does a algebraic equation have? Or just an equation have? For those of you that said it's a math sentence with numbers, variables, operations, and an equal sign, you are right. Nice job. Next one is exponents. So here's an example, 8 to the 4th power, and 4 is the exponent. So what would you say an exponent is? It is the small number in a power that tells you how many times to multiply the base. Or in math, we talked about it's the sidekick. It's the sidekick that tells the superhero how many times to multiply by itself. Next word is factor. What's a factor? And we have been using factors to do prime factorization. So what is a factor? Yes, they are numbers that we multiply together. Give yourself a star or highlight it. And then we're moving on, continuing with our F's. Function. What is a function? Here is a function machine, which is showing us a function, how a function works. And here's an example what a function looks like. So what definition would you give a function? Yep, it is an equation that has a single output for each input. So every time we put a number in, it spits out an answer for us. Continuing with function, what's a function rule? What is a function rule? And I have it highlighted here. So what is that? Yes, it is the rule that each of our input Each of the numbers in the input have to follow. It is all the steps that they have to follow to get to the answer, the output. Okay. Function table is our next one. And this is probably a hard one to define because most of you know what a function table looks like, but how do you put it to words? Like, what is it? For those of you that said it's a way to organize the input and the output, you are great. Like, that is perfect answer. Put a star if you got it right. If you need some extra help, let's highlight it. Next one is identity property. Here's an example. Here are a few examples, I should say. And what definition would you give this? Okay, the number keeps its identity. So if I multiply by 1, I add 0, I divide by 1, the number remains the same. It keeps the same value. Next one, inverse operation. What are the inverse operations? Like, what is that? What's the definition of inverse operations? Yes, you were right. They are performing the opposite operation. So opposites are here, addition and subtraction, and then opposites, multiplication and division. The next one is multiplication. Here's my example. And what would you put down as a definition? Perfect. To find the product of two factors, I should say two or more factors. And some people say that it's repeated addition because I can repeat 8 9 times and I get to 72. If you understand that, then please put a star next to it. Next one is numerical expression. Here is an example of a numerical expression. So what would be a definition of a numerical expression? If you said a math sentence with numbers and an operation, or sometimes there's more than one operation, you are correct. Next one is order of operations. GEMDAS. Like, what's a definition for order of operations? I know many of you know this pyramid, but what do we use the order of operations for? Yes, we use it to perform the 4 operations. Like, it's an order in which we have to follow to perform those 4 operations. Power is our next word, and here's an example, 9 to the 4th power. And what definition is that? Yes, is the product of multiplying a number by itself. So 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. Nice job. Next one is product. Here's a product, 45. So what's the definition for that? Yes, it's the answer to a multiplication problem. You guys are great at this. The next one is quotient. Here's quotient, or here's the quotient. So what is a definition for quotient? Yes, the answer to a division problem. Nice job. At this time, and I'm going to actually stop the video, and we're going to have to continue on another video because I am running out of time. But thank you so much for joining me at Carleton's Math Corner, and I will see you very shortly for the next video for our vocabulary review.